Welcome to another episode of Cinematic Anarchy, where today we will be discussing a lot of oiled up guys in loincloths. In this particular
For the first
case,
time of many times.
Don't think it was a loincloth. It's oiled up guy in what looks like a Greek diaper.
A peplum.
Peplum?
Pretty sure it's called a peplum.
Thank you for the proper word for that, because
I
didn't
be
have that
wrong.
up in the mental Rolodex at all. Nothing. Nada. And we felt the need to abruptly start recording because we were all agreeing on the point that this movie was both too long and too short at the same time.
Yes.
It felt like it took forever to watch, and it felt like there were also some very large missing pieces to it. Which
well,
there
they
are.
really,
Yeah.
they really tried to condense the entire Odyssey into a 2-hour-long Italian production, which was clearly filmed in English and then dubbed into Italian. Although some people are speaking Italian, some people definitely were speaking English.
Mhm.
And then I guess it was released in both Italian and English, but I couldn't for the life of me find the
Nowhere.
English version.
I looked
Nowhere.
around. I just
I was
purchased
like-
the cheapest version I could get.
How does Kirk Douglas in Italian survive, but not Kirk Douglas
Right.
in English? It was so wild. And it's a Dino De Laurentiis movie. Like, I would expect the English version to have some staying power, but no.
Not at all.
No. Just that poor Italian guy trying to dub Kirk Douglas for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Trying to tone down the Italian intensity for how expressive he was.
I believe even now my brain just Anthony Quinn. I believe he was even speaking in English as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could
Well, their
tell
lips were speaking English.
Yeah.
the subtitles and his lips matched up like perfectly,
Yeah.
which it did not do for most of the rest of the cast.
No. It was so wild that this was in. Why Italian? And then the whole section where they make wine for the Cyclops, I was like, you literally in Italy were like, here's how you make wine. Every Italian person in that theater
Grape
was like,
juice.
fuck you, that's not how you make wine.
The first step is make grape juice. The second step is let it ferment.
Right.
Yes.
They
They were just like, what if we just stomped grapes and suddenly it's wine? Aha, there we go.
Maybe
Polyphemus
these
has
are,
never had that much sugar in a short amount of time.
Yeah, so maybe it's just the sugar crash. That's
sugar
what got
high
'em.
and sugar crash, yeah.
Mhm.
Or these are possibly they're rotting on the vine.
Oh,
technically
yeah. Could have
fermenting.
been already
Yeah.
fermented grapes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because
All
the
right.
guy didn't know what to do with grapes anyway, so they were just sitting there. They could have ripened and started rotting in the sun. You don't know.
He may have picked them up off the ground.
Yeah.
That
Ground
may
grapes.
be where he got them. So they're
Yeah. And
halfway there. Like
okay.
elephants eat fruit off the
that's not
ground
happening in this
and
movie.
get drunk.
Maybe we should talk about why we watched this movie. Also,
So
who we are.
We watched this movie because I have signed on to a suggestion that was given to me about doing an entire series of, as I was saying near the beginning, loincloth wearing oiled guys, barbarian films. And
Sword and sorcery?
Not even really sword and sorcery.
More
Literally
like
like loincloth sorcery. Yeah.
Loincloth muscle man.
Yeah.
we tried to steer away from sword and sorcery because that list would have been so much bigger.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I do think there's one or two
We need to
movies
go
that
more
are
niche.
We're going specifically for the like eye candy man fantasy movies that were popular in the 80s and early 90s. Like Conan, Red Sonja, all of the literally half-naked men, half-naked bodybuilders roaming about the countryside solving fantasy problems.
Lou Ferrigno's 1980s version of Sinbad.
All of them. And then we started here.
There's a list.
We started here because it felt like they had to come from somewhere. So maybe we should start with some of the OG epics.
I think
Peplum
this
fantasies.
is the oldest item on the list.
Are we
Oldest
gonna call
and
this
probably
a
one of the
spaghetti
only
epic?
foreign films.
A spaghetti epic.
Something. I
Well,
got it playing over here, and I'm just
Sword and spaghetti movies.
Sword and spaghetti.
Well, this was a non-biblical fantasy epic. So this would have been what Conan. So this to like Conan to us is what Odysseus would have been to the Greeks. The like fantasy king off on an adventure, getting all the babes because he's so hot and thoughtful and muscular and attractive and wealthy. Lots of main character energy.
I love how his wife throughout the entire film was just staunchly loyal the entire time.
Right.
To the
and
point,
he's
to
like,
a fault. And he's just like, oh, and you, and you, and you, and you.
I know he's like, I mean, hot chicks keep throwing themselves at me. What am I supposed to do? I had to make a deal to save my men. That was my favorite part when he goes on Chircha's Island, Cersei, but in Italian.
The Italian pronunciation.
It's like, well, he had, I guess, a couple of built-in excuses. Like, I couldn't remember you for this one. This one, I had no idea who you even were, and this one looked exactly like you, so it had to be okay. It's the twin excuse. Hey, I thought she was you.
Yeah. Well, they were the same
for about
actress,
a month and a half. I thought she was you.
6 months. 6 months. I love when he's like, I've made a deal to save my men. And he's like floating in a hot tub while they pour oil on him. And he's like, this is so hard. I'm suffering right now. I'm doing this for my men.
I want to get home just as much as you do.
And while he's looking in a mirror and he puts on like gold. He's like, look at my robe. It's so nice on me. And she's like, oh, who's a pretty boy? And he's like, I'm a pretty boy. And they're like, can we go? And he's like, nah, go paint the shit.
We've been here for 6 months. It feels like it's been a day. Don't worry, it'll take a little longer. We'll do this tomorrow. And tomorrow,
it's fine.
And tomorrow.
Yeah.
In Penelope's defense, she was getting information, kind of like from people connected to the gods, oracles, whatever, that Odysseus was alive and he's trying to get home. So periodically, she would get information. Someone telling her that, hey, just so you know, Odysseus is still alive and he's still trying to get home. FYI, he's not dead. But there's no proof.
Right.
And so she had some information to justify like her continued loyalty to Ulysses.
And really the only wavering part in her loyalty literally came at a time when she had 107 suitors kind of sitting outside her doors.
Yeah.
And then we have Anthony Quinn and I want to say Antonius.
Yeah.
Antonius or Antinous.
Yeah. I like how he rolls up and he's like, you got to make a decision. She's like, okay, baby. Yeah, sure. I'll make a decision. When he walks away, she's like, God damn it. I got
None
Latin.
of us would be so presumptuous as to walk up to her quarters without any, warning. And he's like, well, I'm not you. And goes right up.
Then I'll be the first.
I'll be the first. It's like he's a classy guy and a half.
Yeah. So this was an interesting adaptation.
I'm sorry, I was distracted for a moment. Somebody walked into the room over here, and I'm just, hi.
I thought it was interesting that, or I guess I thought it was appropriate that this was an Italian production, and the Italians are basically the Romans, and the Romans were really, really good at copying Greek stuff.
Guess who managed
They use all the Roman names for everything. So Ulysses is the Roman name for Odysseus.
Yeah.
And then Neptune is the Roman name for Poseidon.
Guess who went ahead and purchased sorry, not Apocalypse. What am I saying? Been watching too many zombie movies. I purchased a copy of the Odyssey on Audible to listen to it.
Okay.
But it's going to be after the fact because I heard a few things about them taking great liberties with the story. And it's like, well, now I'd kind of like a frame of reference, which is not going to do me any good
Ulysses?
now.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's huge differences from the original story. But most adaptations do change a lot of things, especially when you have to turn it into like a movie.
I thought the flashback conceit was pretty interesting. Starting out with like no memory. And then they're like, well, maybe solitude will help. And he's like, okay. And so he walks down to the seaside and then he's like, I remember everything. And then we get the whole flashback of
his entire journey was on the water and they're keeping him on the land.
Yeah.
The
he's not seeing anything.
Chunk of the middle of the movie is all flashback.
Yes.
Yeah. Little bit of him just staring into the distance.
Right. Every once in a while they come back and be like, see, he's remembering. And you're like, oh, right. That's right. We're in a flashback.
That's how the Odyssey works, too. Except he doesn't wake up on that island. He wakes up on, I think, Calypso's island. Anyway.
Then his
we eliminated.
soon-to-be almost second wife with the what looked like a birthday cake hat.
Yeah.
They put a birthday cake on her head.
You got to respect the costumes for a lot of those are ones that we see on like Greek pottery.
Okay.
The style of dressing and then the Greek statues. They copied a lot of that from historical stuff. And there was a couple moments where the way they lit Kirk Douglas, he looked like he was a Greek statue. Like they did a really good job stylistically with the movie.
Visually with what they had to work with at the time.
Yeah, I think they did.
I was impressed.
Yeah, and I think it plays like a 50s movie. It's just really slow. And like it's just the pacing of the time. They didn't push fast forward on literally anything. They're like, what if we did the entire Cyclops scene? You guys want the entire Cyclops scene? Do you want 45 minutes of the Cyclops scene? We can make that work. And I got through it by tracking like how little continuity they had between how big the Cyclops was and how small the people were. Because like he moves the giant rocks and they're clearly half the height of the Cyclops.
So and then when boulders blocking the door
boulders, and then when they run over, they're the height of the lowest boulder. So they're half the height of the Cyclops at that moment. And then later he picks one of them up and they're like a Barbie doll size. So they're far smaller than half his size.
And then when Ulysses gives the bowl of wine to Polyphemus.
Right. It's like a pumpkin size in his hand. It's like a 10-inch or 12-inch vessel.
But then Ulysses barely goes up to Polyphemus's knee.
Right. Well, then the vessel itself is like a 12-inch pot. When he hands it to the Cyclops guy, it's suddenly huge. And he's like, it's bigger than the Cyclops' head. And you're like, wait a minute, it was...
The kind of details we'd really pay attention to.
I mean, maybe he's allergic to... He might be allergic to grapes. That's just a product of the swelling that was happening as he was drinking the wine.
Okay. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
That's a good angle.
We'll give them some excuses.
And then the axe is giant. Like, the axe is twice the height of the people.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was
like
just...
You see the axe and Ulysses doesn't even think, hey, maybe we shouldn't.
I know. That's his... They did a good job with how arrogant Ulysses is and how he's literally like, I'm the main character in this story and you guys are just a supporting role, so I don't really care if you die. So I'm here for the adventure.
None of you are going to make it to the end, so whatever.
Whatever. I'm going to do what I want.
If you wanted arrogant bravado in the 1950s, Kirk Douglas. I mean, Spartacus.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth discussing the fact that this will morph into this genre that we're going to talk about. The like Conan, Red Sonja, all of Barbarians, all of that. The like muscle
half-clad hero on an adventure,
bodybuilders in loincloths solving fantasy problems. So
I think we get to the bodybuilder part.
Right. Well, no, but that's what I'm saying is like you look at Kirk Douglas and Kirk Douglas is supposed to be the sex symbol.
Yeah.
And he looks like a regular dude who skipped leg day. Like he's not what you would consider, what we would currently consider like buff. So I guess maybe it's more like the He-Man effect. We haven't hit the He-Man effect yet. Strong men have big muscles. He's supposed to come off as like a sex symbol.
Yes,
Kirk Douglas is supposed to be a sex symbol in this
movie. Yeah, he's supposed to be this really manly man who can win any fight, whatever. But like the original Odysseus was not supposed to be like the hulking battle hero. He's the clever, wiry guy. So the Kirk Douglas kind of fits the clever, wiry guy angle, I think. But only from the modern perspective.
I just love how naked all the men are in this.
And how they're like actually wrestling.
Like the wrestling scene when
like
they're wearing
specific Greco-Roman wrestling, like
yeah. Matt was like, they should be naked. I was like, well,
Yeah,
it's
whatever.
the 50s, so I can't really do that.
for one, am glad they weren't. Just saying.
And then he wears that little like sash / mini skirt combo, but then the side thigh, like he has a slit down all the way from his waist down his side thigh. And I was like, is Kirk wearing underwear? Is he wearing something under that? Or is he just free balling for this whole movie? Like
I would guess that he was free balling.
Yeah.
Unless it was a scene that required him to do a lot of movement, I'll guarantee you he was free balling. I'm just thinking about
For
the
the
Douglas family in general.
Kirk was like, I just feel like I would feel more manly if I could feel it swinging when I walk. And they were like, okay, man, sure, whatever you need. That's fine.
And bravo for keeping those diapers in place during the wrestling scene. I'm telling you.
No,
bravo.
It was pretty. I wonder how many takes that took. They're like, sorry, no, Kirk, go back. It came out again. He's like, God damn it. Why am I so well endowed?
Now, 3 seconds in the scene here.
Edit this out in post.
3 seconds into the wrestling match, your opponent was hanging brain. We got to go back,
God damn it. Again.
That's why Kirk was smiling from a distance while he was watching the original match. They keep balling out. It's hilarious. And they kept all that footage.
That's his private footage. So then they go to the Phoenicians, and the Phoenician guys look like they raided the women closet. Like it doesn't look like male costumes. It looks like they have like the V in the front as if they're supposed to have décolletage. I was like, what a choice. What a choice. So we went from mini skirts to men in dresses. I love this for us. I think
Maybe the costume department ran out of robes.
Well, I think they were just really dedicated to being authentic. It wasn't about making them look stronger. It wasn't about making them look more manly. It was about making them look authentically Phoenician.
Well, a lot of them weren't in positions to necessarily be warriors on the field, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like the king with the curls.
Right.
Which is what you get like in Babylonian art, Phoenician style art stuff, is you get the like hanging curls. So like they added all of that, and I love that for them. It's just the aesthetic was really interesting that we weren't going for like in the 300
like modern Western,
like in the 300 when we clearly took creative liberties to be like, how much body oil can we go through? Well, we're going to find out by making sure we have as little clothing on everybody as possible. Everyone, women, men.
Sweat, but it's definitely not.
It's definitely not.
Just
right.
Greased up, oiled men.
So, I really enjoyed that part of it. I think for a 50s movie, it was fine. I wish I could have found it in English. I normally don't mind subtitles, but it was the dubbing of the actors into Italian and then giving me English subtitles that, like, I wanted to hear Kirk Douglas deliver those lines. Like the part when they're on the boat and he gets tied to the mast so that he can hear the sirens because he wants to be the only one who's heard them and survived.
Right.
And he's screaming.
He's belting it out.
I was like, I wish I could hear what Kirk was doing in this moment.
And we hear the Italian guy dubbing him.
Yeah.
Trying to match that energy.
Yeah.
I like. There's scenes that I like. That one I didn't particularly like him kind of groaning tied to the mast because of the sirens.
Yeah.
I think my brain just went off into left field for a minute there. But I did not particularly like that scene because they really that's the part where I really felt like they could have at least tried to give you a visual, not just some disembodied voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a lot went into this production. They built a whole ass ship, Chris. There's the miniature that you see on the waves, but then like they're on a ship. They're on a boat.
They're on an actual sailing vessel.
There's a section where they have all the ropes, and I was like, did they just tie ropes at random? And then they were like, fuck it, we're never going to show the sail. Who gives a shit? Or was this accurate? I don't know. Like, I was like, you built a whole fucking boat. A whole, like, Roman boat. And they filmed it in the Mediterranean. Like, this is all... They tried to film on Ithaca.
Yeah, they were supposed to film on the actual island of Ithaca, but they had an earthquake.
I feel that's just one of those things that I feel like throughout the film, it's just a lot, but it always felt like it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
They definitely put a lot into this film. I'm not going to take away from any of that. The production value, I mean, for the time, I mean, there was a lot going on there. The sets were amazing, whether or not they were historically accurate. But, you know, that little, again, my brain keeps going back to the little hat, the little cake hat that I kept going, you know, all like, I'm waiting for is Devo to kick in and whip it, you know?
Maybe that's where Devo got it.
Correct.
They were like,
because there was a scene where some girl got whipped for spying.
That's true.
Mom was taking it to that girl.
Yeah. She wasn't even on her back. She wasn't even like on her, like she wasn't whipping her back. She was like laying on the ground, whipping her while she was laying on the ground.
Yep. Yeah. She was just like whipping her.
She revealed Penelope's ruse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then that came out of nowhere for me anyway. It's like, okay, well, I feel like right there, that's where we were missing a little bit of information there. Like there was an entire scene that was dropped out. I don't know, to make this movie quicker.
I think they were expecting you to know the story.
Yeah, so Penelope is fending off these suitors. She can't just say, well, I'm the fucking queen, because that was the culture at the time. And so, like, ostensibly, she needs a husband, but she's claiming, my husband is still alive, I'm just waiting for him to get home. But there's enough of the populace that's like, no, he's as good as dead. You need to remarry.
Like, you're waiting and waiting.
And so she has to come up with scenarios to kind of just delaying tactics. And so she says, okay, I'm weaving a shroud for Odysseus's father, Laertes. And she's weaving it. Once I'm done with this, like, I need to actually process, like, be committed to this. I can't be distracted by having to, like, think about a new husband or whatever. Give me space so that I can actually work on this shroud. But then she's unstitching everything at night that she stitches during the day. And so everybody sees her all day working at this shroud, and she's seemingly not making much progress for as much work as she's putting into it, but that's because she's undoing it at night. So that way she never actually finishes. And so this one maid, whatever, reveals to the suitors that Penelope is unstitching it at night to delay them.
See,
and so now she has to come up with another plan. And that's when she comes up with a challenge that only a man worthy of me can finish. And it's this really, like, trick shot thing that Odysseus spent hundreds of hours practicing just to show off when he was courting Penelope. And so she's never seen anybody else do this, because it's like, that's not the kind of archery people generally do. And this bow was actually enchanted by Athena specifically for Odysseus. So Odysseus is actually the only one who can string it, not because it's like a weird style of bow, but because it's enchanted by Athena specifically for him.
All right, so it's not necessarily that he's stronger. It's just this is like your Thor's hammer. You can't.
Yeah.
Nobody else can bend it but you.
Right.
Exactly. And so she's just stuck with all this kind of cultural pressure, to societal pressure to pick a new husband, and just doing whatever she can to delay having to pick a new husband as long as possible.
Yeah, see, a lot of that is lost in the not actually having it in the movie itself, you know?
Right, yeah. You mean by not including it? Yes.
It's like not there.
It's lost. Yeah.
I'll bet you there's another cut of this somewhere where they actually filmed some of this, and they were like, you know what, we need to take out certain things, but leave the girl getting whipped on the ground.
We need the director's cut.
Do we? Do we?
To fully evaluate and break down this movie,
Yeah.
Yes,
we need
it
the
would be
director's
nice.
cut. If somebody has the extended version,
No, God.
if you
It's like
find
Ben Hurling.
if somebody has the extended version, please watch it and tell us how it is, because I'm not watching that again.
Not in Italian.
I
You
had
got
to-
it in English.
I had to watch it twice because the subtitles were moving by so fast. If I were to look up at what was going on, I missed half of what they were saying. So I had to watch one entire time through with my eyes trained on the bottom of the screen, with the exception of a few action scenes where there was very little being said that wasn't repetitive. And then I had to watch it again all the way through just so I could see what was happening.
Yeah, that's fair. I wish I could have found it. It's wild to me that it's not available in English. First, it was hard to find. Like, I think we found it on Tubi. And then I was like, well, maybe they have it on Prime Video in English. And I looked it up on Prime and it was like, yeah, here it is in Italian. I was like, no,
and YouTube had it to buy or rent, but also in
Italian. And I was like, well, why is it available, but it's only available in fucking Italian? Like, I get that it was an Italian production, but it was also released in English, and these actors are clearly speaking English. So extra work was done to make it Italian.
So, to whoever currently holds the rights to these films, I've got a group of people that would love to dub over this in English. It may come off a little silly, but people will understand what's going on.
So it'll be filmed in English, dubbed to Italian, and then dubbed back to English.
Back into English. You know,
that
like the
fun, actually.
The Google Translate of movies, you know, just
we
lose quite a bit of context, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
kind of.
But bad dubbing. Like, it has to be bad dubbing. Where Kirk Douglas is like, no, Ithaca.
To fall under creative reuse, it has to be like a parody.
Okay, so instead of us dubbing the actual dialogue, we do like a bad lip reading dub of the entire movie.
Yeah.
I like where you're going.
That's exactly what you have to do for this.
Yep.
I mean, there's no rights holder. It's 70 years old.
Why isn't there like a comedic troupe that has reached out to some of these classic films and been like, look, let's do a re-release where we do not only this, but we also provide you a bad lip-reading dub. So like they can go into the audio selection and they can just listen to some absolute bullshit the entire way.
I mean, yeah.
It's a completely different movie.
And release it as a riff track like MST3K did for a while, where they would make the riff tracks and then just release them for you to listen to while you watch the movie. Yeah. I would do that. Put it on mute, put my track on, and then get the bad lip reading version of the whole thing.
Especially as things are coming out of copyright.
Yeah, and you can do that. Or some of these movies that are kind of lost. Like, I feel like if we'd done Spartacus, I feel like we would have found any version we wanted to. Or if we'd done some of the other more the biblical epics, Ben-Hur, The Robe, all of those, we could have found those. But like, Ulysses apparently is lost time, more or less, which seems strange because it's Kirk Douglas. Usually you think if you've got like, you know, if it's all Italian actors, sure, but it's like a Dino De Laurentiis with Kirk Douglas movie, only in Italian, which is crazy.
I know some fans of Kirk Douglas. This is not a movie that was on my radar with them at all. Spartacus, you'll hear all day long. Even the Vikings movie, you'll hear all day long, but this, no.
No. Well, it's interesting. Maybe because, I don't know.
I mean, it takes
maybe
a certain
because it's
kind
really
of fan
only been
to dedicate to high-speed subtitles. It really does.
I know, which is why I'm like, where's the English? Release the English version.
I think that's the only problem with a lot of, and you don't get that with a lot of other countries that know that they're going to have to dub things and send them over. They say, we have to go at a pace so that when we dub these things, people aren't maddened by the fact that they have to either dubbed over to the subtitles or going by so quick they can't even watch the movie. I feel like the Italians didn't have that problem. They were just like, fuck it. If they want to read it, fantastic. They want to watch it, fantastic. You want to try to do both. That's a skill.
I mean, we watch a lot of subtitled stuff. I don't have a problem with subtitles. It's just this specifically because I know they're speaking English. So like, I know it's out there. And yet here I am having to translate this Italian.
It feels more bootleg than it should have to.
If you wanted it to be in Italian because you wanted it to feel like realistic, like
Mediterranean
time period correct, then make it in Greek.
That's
then
fair.
put it in Greek, and then I'll read your subtitles all day long because now I'm listening to it in the language it would have originally been presented in. But don't give me the Roman ripoff, and then be like, well, that's because it's more authentic this way. No, it's not. What are you doing?
No, I mean Anthony and Kirk were definitely speaking English almost this entire film. I think it would have been interesting to hear everybody speaking their native languages in the film,
right.
which I think is probably where it fell.
I think everyone's speaking different. Like, I think some people are delivering their lines in Italian and some people are delivering them in English. So I think this is like all over the place, like just a smorgasbord of what is happening. And then they had to go back. Anyway,
I guarantee you what happened is both Anthony and Kirk walked into the room after having told these people, yeah, we can definitely speak Italian. And they were like, you are butchering this so much. Look, our Italian actors understand what you're saying in English. What we're going to do is this. It's like, you just stop trying Italian
Phil
altogether.
Collins.
They're not Phil Collins.
Perform in a bunch of different languages.
Right.
We're just going to have you speak English, and our guys are going to understand and just act around you, okay?
I know. There's a guy off screen shouting in Italian, "This is what Kirk is saying." And
it's a translator, yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk
they had subtitle cards they're holding up.
Oh,
I don't know.
Italian cue cards.
Well, what themes do we think are going to get carried forward into our loincloth and fantasy?
What themes from this movie do I think are going to get? I mean,
body oil.
Body oil.
There's minimal body oil in this, though. Let's.
There is a scene where she hands him oil, and I was like, "Oh, is he going to get rubbed?" And
they were
takes
oiling
it and puts
somebody,
it on himself.
and then she comes in to oil him.
Yeah.
Bulky men who are subdued by tricky women.
Yeah.
that seems to be a theme.
Yeah.
Throughout a lot of them, men who have this bravado, who are completely and utterly undone by a woman who's much more sly than them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just in general, men and women pining after them.
Yes.
And men who stray quite a bit, but yet still claim to be faithful. That is a running theme in a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
like one guy with main character energy, like the one guy who's like, I'm the hero in the story and I fucking know it.
Right.
That's the.
And everybody else better get in line.
Get in line. Yeah. If you're going to join me, you're probably going to die because guess what? I'm the main character. I don't know if you know that or not. Because that's definitely Kirk's vibe through this whole thing. So I feel like that we're going to carry forward.
So there should be more loincloths, less diapers. Though there are some furry underwear here and there. So that's kind of halfway in between.
Lore dump. The lore dump at the beginning of the movie. Because we got that huge lore dump at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them that either do it in text or you have like a voiceover over the credits in the beginning, which gives you the basic setup. I think that happens in I think that happens in the Conan the Barbarian movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I think they all get a lore dump because you got to know where you got to get a big dump at the beginning so we can just start in the middle of the action.
I'm still rooting for Arnie to come out of retirement and do like an old King Conan kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
That would be good. We need these movies back. Where did they go?
They tried to do Conan a couple times. They really did. I think even what's his name? Momoa tried to do a Conan movie, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yes. The obscure Conan that had Jason Momoa in it as Conan, which was just.
Well, clearly we need to add that to the list.
Clearly, that's not the Conan we're looking for. We're looking for something very, very different.
We tried watching Craven, which I would argue
Craven the Hunter
is in the vein of.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Especially with the big fluffy collar thing.
Are we adding something in just before this Matt Damon movie that we're all anticipating?
The Matt Damon Odysseus movie.
I think that was
by Christopher Nolan. I think.
I believe that was the other end that we were discussing working towards. Is that we were going to go from Ulysses to Odysseus and all the stuff in between.
Okay, yeah, I'm here for that. I mean, I think we did what's that Henry Cavill movie where he's. Is it The Immortals or the
Immortals? Yeah.
I think it's the Immortals. We get like a lot of Greek fantasy. But I think we're starting at the Greek fantasy, but then we're following the like spin-off path where we're like, what if we made up our own Greek style fantasies? Like, can we do that?
I saw a fun premise online in the last year, and it was a game show idea. And I said, okay, but it's all about Greek mythology, but you only get contestants who are just like passingly familiar with Greek mythology. And they said, okay, and what we can do is call it Homer, I Barely Know Her. Because Homer was kind of the fan fiction of Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you think would could carry forward from this?
I just think the like really powerful women being strangely obsessed with heroes, except in Red Sonja where we get it flipped. A really powerful woman with whom heroes are obsessed for some reason.
And of course, the jealous men who try to undo them.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those.
Yeah. And then just the like, I think the biggest thing we're going to carry forward is we have this one character who is like the whole movie revolves around them. Everyone orbits them and they fully know it. And then they move through this world. And they're all like himbos. Like none of them are acting, well, Odysseus a little bit, but like Conan is not a smart man. He can just carry a very big sword.
Right.
And so everyone around him is figuring all the mental stuff out while he's just banging on stuff. And yet he still gets to be the main character.
Right.
It's presence.
So I think it's the present. It's the like, I'm fucking Conan, bitch. Like, of course I can do that.
It's all vibes.
It's all vibes. Like, and the Odysseus is all vibes. Like all of his men die. Everyone dies. And he's like, oh, they should have painted the ship.
He said it himself. Like, they died because they would be nothing without him. That's how basically he said that. Like, oh, they're not going to leave because they're nothing without me.
I know how little they are. That's why I love them.
I know. Circe is like, well, they're just like small men. And he's like, I know. That's why I like them. They were like my
they need me.
They were like my Pokemon. Like my little buddies. They kept calling them pals.
Pals.
I was like, is there no
subtitles were translating like
friend as
companions
pal.
As pal.
And I was like, could we not?
They're all my pals.
You're my pals.
Yeah, I saw pals pop up quite a bit.
Maybe that was like a 50s thing.
Yeah.
A 50s
I want to know.
Something's lost in translation. Sorry.
The whole I'm going to go back to the Cyclops scene.
Okay.
Because there's that section where they hold up that basket full of white stuff and he's like, hell yeah. And he takes a huge handful of it and starts eating it. What was Kirk eating?
I think that was supposed to be like cottage cheese.
Oh, that is not a big basket of cottage cheese right there.
I mean, it's like a firm chease.
I think
it was.
I know what they say it is, but I'm guessing that whatever was in that basket, I'm guessing they called the Cool Whip Company. And we're just here. What we need you to do is we need you to just bring a truck and just fill this basket. And it's like, okay, we're going to fill the basket. Well, we're going to probably do it about 20 or 30 times before we let you go. But just fill it up, make it look like cottage cheese.
Then they had an actual dead sheep, which was a moment. Like I always forget about the
There was a lot there. They were
pre-animal
throwing those
rights.
sheep around. They were just throwing them over the fence. Those were live sheep.
Literally slaughtering them and cooking them on screen.
Yeah, this topped my previous low of Deadly Harvest where they shoot a cow on screen.
Like actually shoot the cow dead.
So I was like, wow, you always forget before the animal cruelty, like no animals were harmed in this. They're like, yeah, animals were harmed and they were delicious. And you're like, what the fuck?
Not only were animals harmed, but this was what craft service was back then. It's...
Right. But I want to know how many takes did Kirk have to do with the hand scoop? And then he's walking around like, I'm not like eating it. And then he has to cut a wedge of cheese. And he's eating it, and then he takes it and shoves it in another guy's mouth.
To shut him up.
And then keeps going.
Just like, eat.
Boop. And then he has to, he picks the grapes, and he's, eating the grapes off the thing in his hand. Like, he did a lot of eating in that scene. And it always makes me wonder, how many takes did you do? Did you eat every single time? How much cheese did he consume in a single day filming that scene.
Yeah.
I mean, was this actually how they consumed grapes then too? Like you just picked a vine of grapes and just tore right into the fucking thing. Not picking them off one by one. Just
no, he's just like
draping them in his mouth. You do that. You're eating stem along with the grapes
and the seeds
and the seeds. Because they're not seedless grapes, right?
Yeah,
they wouldn't have seedless grapes.
Those are wine grapes, so we're led to believe. So first of all, those are going to be like a little bit bitter, a little bit sour when you go and bite into them, because wine grapes are not generally meant for just straight off the vine consumption.
Right.
But life is sour, and it's like touching grass.
I don't think that I don't think Odysseus has ever touched grass in his entire fucking life.
This film was like smoking a little grass.
He did one time. He did one time when his mother's spirit shamed him.
I know, he's like,
for
Mom?
not trying to get back home.
It's like that scene. She's like, look how bad death is. And his mom shows up and he's like, Mom, did you die? And she's like, yeah, I fucking died because you took so fucking long.
You've been taking a bath for 6 months.
Sorry, Mom. She's really hot. And she's like, get off it and get back to your wife. And he's like, okay, Mom, sure. Okay, Mom. Mom.
Guy made some justifications to stay there even after his men died.
I know. He was like, well, I mean, they're already dead, so like, what's the rush now, I guess?
We're all dead. Choose immortality. We're all dead. Choose immortality. Mom's like, I'm dead. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, she's like, I'll put you on Olympus. I'll make you a god. Couldn't you just wait, become a god, and then be like, cool, I'm going home now?
Like, all these men died because of you. I died because we were all waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. And there were no consequences for all those men dying. None at all. Because she's like, so they all died. So anyway, do you want to become a god? And he's like, I mean, maybe. I don't know. And then he just makes a little raft and he like travels over to, like, that's how far they were from Ithaca. He was like a dinghy trip away from Ithaca for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like a castaway raft at best.
And then he comes back and he's like, there are men in my house. Your mom has men in my house. Like, what moral high ground do you have to speak from? Even a little bit at all.
Like, you've been gone so long, you don't recognize me, and I barely recognize you. We don't really know each other. That's how long you've been gone.
Could they not find an actual teenager to play his son? That is a 40-year-old man.
He's not that old.
In makeup.
That's what a 20-year-old looked like in the 50s.
In like heavy makeup to be like, you're young. Can you channel youth? And he's like, I mean, sure, I guess. Yeah, whatever. I'll be young.
There have been a rash of 30 to 40-year-olds that have been asked to play teenagers throughout the years. There really have. I mean, just look at 90210. Andrea. I mean, come on.
And sometimes they look young and sometimes they look like 40-year-olds. And this guy did not look young. He looked like he could be married to his mom. Mm-hmm. And that would be fine.
It's entirely possible. There was definitely some tension between them in a couple scenes. Like you know, mom and son on screen, but off screen, Kirk's nowhere around.
Except that lady was dating, I think, the director.
Probably, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
the Penelope.
I think that's why she's also Circe. She's like, "Can I be two characters?" And he was like, "I mean, great. Then we don't have to." That
makes a lot more sense why he would cheat on his wife with a goddess, because, well, I mean, she's a goddess, but you know, he was pretending to be loyal. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, you look enough like my wife.
I mean, if I squint a little, we can make this work. And then he wakes up and he's like, I wake up with the sun. She's like, it's afternoon. And he's like, you had a really soft bed. I don't know what to tell you. This was supposed to be directed by Pabst. And he quit at the last minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then they got, the cinematographer, they just promoted to director. So this is directed by a guy who is a cinematographer for his career.
Mm-hmm.
What would this have been like if it was directed by Pabst, of all people?
I would hope a little bit more complete. But,
coherent.
I mean, they really did. I like I said, I don't know a lot about the story. That's why I was like, after watching this, I'm like, I heard that there was a lot missing from this. Like, they really took some liberties, skipped over a lot of shit.
Can confirm.
Used used a lot of my brain just went halfway off to the other end. But they used a lot of stuff in the middle of the movie that just he's remembering all of these past events to try to get himself back to being a complete person. He had amnesia, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that happened, if I'm not mistaken.
He didn't have amnesia in the original story.
To remember all of his exploits.
He's relating his exploits to people as he's trying to get back home. But he didn't have amnesia in the original story.
Yeah.
He's taking his time getting to the island because he's a planner. Like, he's a thinker, he's a planner. He's not rushing into the situation with his sword drawn. He's going to approach stealthily and gather information. And so he shows up
years.
Not for 10 years. Other stuff was happening for
He's
10
one
years.
sneaky motherfucker.
He shows up to Ithaca in disguise.
Yeah. Well, we got that part.
To be an old beggar.
Yeah.
To get the lay of the land and figure out who his opponents are and what the situation is.
Like that
not
scene.
For nothing, but even with the beard and the beggar makeup, like, how did she not know that was her husband?
It's been a while. It's been
like, the shadows are not that good. Like,
I don't know. I just like the part where he finally pops out and strings the bow, and then he shoots the arrow, and then he like throws off his robes, and he's in his little
loincloth.
And he's like, it's me, Ulysses, y'all. And then he's like, y'all gonna die. He just runs over and closes the door, and then he's like, he mercilessly murders everybody. And Penelope's like, oh, that was so drastic. What did she think he was going to do? Like, what were the other options? These men have been destroying his home and living off of his charity.
In fairness, given the time, if he didn't take out all those men, somebody would have come back and tried to take him out. So
right, exactly.
You know, kill the problem before the problem kills you, so to speak. There was a lot of backstabbing back then.
Yeah. And I always forget how much I like the lighting in these older movies. Like, there's a scene where Kirk has to like step forward and you can only see the lower half of his face because of the way the shadows all fall. So he had to be aware of the light and where the light was hitting him. And that's so like, so cool. Like, we don't use shadows in the same way now because we don't have the same level of contrast on our TVs or like in our movies. So we don't think about shadows in the same way unless everything's just too fucking dark to see, which is pretty common. But the way that they used shadow for the storytelling,
which makes sense given that a cinematographer was running the whole show.
Yeah. That's fair. So, yeah. I think that's a pretty good breakdown of where we start, which is just, this is the like Greek myth, the idea. This would have been what Conan is going to be to us. This would have been their loincloth fantasy. Their hot guy running around the countryside solving fantasy problems.
This Kirk Douglas in scantily clad clothing for the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's scantily clad clothing for any time, I would argue. That is a very short skirt. He's one stiff breeze away from
this is the
indecent exposure.
The ancient Greek version of short shorts.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Short shorts might cover a little bit more, actually.
I want to know, was that what everybody wore? Or was that the like athlete outfit? Was that athleisure? Is that what he's wearing? Is he wearing athleisure for this whole thing? Or
not for nothing. If it were socially acceptable to walk around in a mini skirt free balling all the time, I probably would too. You know, that would be a freeing feeling.
I mean,
just kind of walking around.
So much breeze.
Not a 90-degree day outside. I don't want to have to wear shorts and a t-shirt. I could wear less.
That's fair.
But
this is the Mediterranean. We gotta stay cool.
But there are a lot of people around here that would be like, cover your eyes. We're calling someone. Chris has had it again. Tell his wife to tell him to put clothes on.
I'm cosplaying. It's fine.
We have an episode we're doing. Don't worry about it. What? I'm gonna have to show up in I'm gonna go order a toga. It's almost Halloween. I'll order a toga and just kind of show up in Kirk Douglas's garb for a couple of episodes, scare a few people. I don't have a Kirk Douglas build. I barely have a Drew Carey build. Pre-weight loss. Because Drew's kind of a little fit now. Yeah, he does. He looks a lot better. So we like Drew Carey show, Drew Carey. So how would you, this being our first jump into the barbarian and loincloth pool, which was, I would say that kind of 50-50 falls into that category.
I think it does.
How would you rate the film overall?
I don't know, because I didn't see it in English.
You didn't see it in English. Well, we can only judge it based off of what we saw.
I mean, for what it was, for the time period, for the way it's filmed, for the adaptation, I think it's a good 7 out of 10. I mean, I think it was fine. I think it was a goodish movie.
How hard they went for the aesthetic.
I mean, these sets are killer. Look at all the actors they had to outfit, which is probably why their clothing budget was so small. And so they just had to shrink everybody's miniskirts. And I think that they really tried to go for authentic. I think that's why it's in Italian, although it was a choice. I think that's why that they made a lot of unconventional choices for costumes, because I think they were trying to create like this is what it would have been like. This is what it would have, how you would have experienced it if you experienced it in the time.
Okay.
So I think for that, I think that was good. I think they did a good job.
Okay. Are you standing on the same rating?
Yeah.
A 7. Okay.
I think so.
Before I give my rating.
Is it watchable? Not necessarily. Is it good for what it is? Yes.
Would I rewatch it?
No.
Probably not.
No.
This is not a rewatch for me at all.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad I watched it. But...
I am too. And I am going to say that I'm giving this a higher rating than I gave some other films that I've watched recently, which would be considered more of a classic, which is interesting. Before I give you my rating, though, there's 2 points that I want to just bring up real quick. One, Anthony Quinn died way too quick in this film.
Yeah,
there should have been a little bit more between the two before he just took an arrow and
that's fair. I mean, you had Anthony. Why wouldn't you have them battle?
A main antagonist and some no-name guy got the only wrestling match in the damn film.
Yeah.
Number 2, his secondary wife here, was it Nausea or I can't Nausicaa? See, I told you I was going to butcher the names. That's why I really tried not to mention too many of them. Was possibly the only one that was kind of a teenager in this film.
Yes. Yeah.
Like she definitely played like the 13-year-old that's about to get married to the warrior way back when.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was somebody's niece that they were like, "Can we find her a job?" And they were like, "I mean, I guess."
Here you go. Yeah, take your child bride. That's
yeah.
So I was not disappointed in the movie till after I was finished watching the movie and I tried to do a little bit of research and listen to a few things. I wasn't really disappointed in the movie. And after reading a few things and listening to a few things, I realized that we're missing a lot here. So I'm going to give you my little bit of research rating on the film. I would have given it about a 7 to a 7.5.
Okay.
More knowledge that I have now, it would be definitely rated lower, but I'm rating this higher than Night of the Living Dead, which I just watched recently.
Oh.
And
wow.
Well, not for nothing. I mean, while Night of the Living Dead is a classic, film. Watching it now, you can tell it was definitely a guerrilla production, and there was a lot of problems that I had with it, but it is a classic, and it spawned so many other movies. So it is Citizen Kane of zombie movies. We don't need to talk about that. We're talking about other things, but I rate this higher. I think the production value, the acting was pretty spot on. It was a good movie that I would recommend a one-time watching for somebody.
Yes. Yeah. Good to have under your belt. Not necessary to love and rewatch a lot. And I think I'm glad we watched it to have something to reference back to when we move into the 80s
and
style.
There will be references.
Right.
Especially when we get into other things that might fall into the kind of Grecian or God versus man territory.
Right. Yeah. I think this is going to be a good baseline. And I think that for what it is, it's fine.
And going back to 1954 is definitely a good idea. It's like, well, this is one of the first movies that they recognized as a sort of barbarian-esque film, like the garb, and even though it's based off of the Odyssey, like lot of the tropes that kind of push through to other films of the same name. And you'll be able to tell when we get to the list of things that we're doing, there is a definite jumping off point where they were like, here is this year, and now 50 other movies in the same year happen.
Right. Yes, exactly. And and then poof, gone.
Right, and then it's gone and it's sparse after that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, these oiled up guys aren't working anymore. We may have to pivot and find other oiled up guys, because Arnie wasn't working anymore. Arnie tried to move into comedy. He's like, I don't want to do action anymore. I want to do something that's a little more comedic.
Yeah.
That is the worst Arnold impression. I'm telling you.
It was fine. I got where you were going.
So, any other points you want to make about the film before we?
I think that about covers it.
So, I'm trying to stay away from Nico's little thing, but I'm gonna I'm not spitball. I'm gonna have a little brainstorming session with some folks and sit down and try to find a new way to sign off of this podcast. Because personally, for me, I feel like the drink some water, you thirsty bitches, only kind of works when she says it. It doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth. It's funny to hear me try to say it and then apologize for saying it. It doesn't work. I'm going to say it, but it doesn't work.
Maybe that's your standard outro. Just say and then apologize.
And so I will just say thank you on behalf of myself, Matt, and Rachel for listening to this podcast today. You can find both of our podcasts pretty much wherever podcasts are found. Yeah, we're on YouTube, Spotify, so on and so forth. So look for the Strange and Beautiful Book Club podcast and Cinematic Anarchy pretty much wherever. I don't want to say it. Drink some water, you thirsty bitches. Go outside, touch some grass, and find somebody to oil up your boys. Have fun.
There you go. Bye.
That is...